Australia's government has delivered a budget it hopes can boost flagging poll ratings ahead of elections that are due within a year. The deficit for 2018 and 2019 is forecast at just under 15 billion Australian dollars. A return to a fiscal surplus is seen by 2020. That's actually a year ahead of schedule. Immediate tax relief for low and middle income earners will amount to a $7 a week tax cut, which drew criticism from the opposition. The government also promises to crack down on tax avoidance by multinationals.
Well, Bloomberg's Paul Allen spoke to Treasurer Scott Morrison, who says the pathway to ongoing surpluses is sustainable.
Is based on the growing economy, in particular the strong growth that we will continue to see in employment in Australia. Unlike in many other countries, Australia has still not returned to that unemployment rate, which is the natural rate. So that there is further room for our labour market to expand and grow, and that's what really is boosting revenues over the medium term. The initial commodity price improvements that we'll see, we've had much more cautious forecasting. I mean, that will all go straight to the bottom line, but the longer-term revenue uplift is on the sheer fact of a growing and strengthening economy.
Like last year, there's some heroic assumptions about wages growth here, 2.75% in 2018, 2019, rising to 3.25%. We're not seeing anything like those numbers. Why are you so optimistic?
Our forecasts are in line with the IMF, the OECD, the Reserve Bank of Australia, right across the board. I mean, we have consistently forecast conservatively, and that's why at each and every budget update, we're actually presenting better than expected outcomes. And that has happened again in the presentation of this budget, and we'll continue to be cautious on these things. So no, I wouldn't share that view that that outlook is overly optimistic. In fact, we revised it slightly down from the December statements, which is our habit.
In your budget speech, you talk about the global financial crisis and how the end of the mining boom ripped $80 billion out of the Australian economy. But here we have tax cuts and no mention of planning for future shocks. Is the economy prepared for future shocks, like, say, a US-China trade war?
Well, I don't share your assessment of us preparing, because what we're doing is putting the budget back into a positive balance and reducing the debt. Now, on top of that, we have the strongest financial system, arguably, in the world when it comes to our banking financial system and its systemic strength, financial stability strength. So whether it's on our banking and financial system, which weathered the global financial crisis better than anywhere else in the world, or it was the fact that our debt to GDP at a gross level peaks at less than 30%, and there's plenty of countries that love to swap places with Australia on those sort of metrics. I mean, where we stand globally, I think, is very much the envy of many developed countries around the world.
Well, we've got tax cuts of about $10 a week for low and middle income earners. You say that's what can be responsibly afforded. We've got an election coming up within 12 months. Is that going to be enough to win over those voters?
Well, what voters do is a matter for them to decide. What we've got is a clear plan that we've stuck to. Over the last 5 years, since we were first elected, we've reduced the level of welfare dependency to the lowest level in 25 years. We're now turning the corner on debt, and we'll be paying that debt down. And we've been able to bring the budget back into a very modest balance at this point, 1 year early. So that's a good, strong record of achievement, but we've more to do, and we need to stick to the plan.